Welcome to Trucker Reacts, back with another video. This video is about California, Sean Duffy, and Florida. What? Yes. Two separate articles we're going to cover right here. Be hearing about Sean Duffy getting mad at California, and we're going to see what's going on. The story is from OOIDA, or not OOIDA, their media group, Landline Media. We'll check out the article and see what's going on. It is crazy. Let's see, share that one and go here. And there we go. Here we have it. DOT pulls 40 million. Wow. From California for not enforcing English proficiency regs. First, there was a warning. Remember the video I did last week? Sean Duffy's speech. He warned them. Or was it a couple of weeks ago? I don't know when it was. It was a while back. He warned the states to get compliance. California didn't listen. Now, the U.S. Department of Transportation is taking action. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy announced that the FMCSA will withhold about $40.7 million from California for not complying with the agency's English proficiency standards. Excuse me. I put states on notice this summer, Duffy said in a news release. Enforce the Trump administration's English language requirements or the checks stop coming. California is the only state in the nation that refuses to ensure big rig drivers can read our road signs and communicate with law enforcement. This is a fundamental safety issue that impacts you and your family on American roads. Specifically, the FMCSA will pull $40.7 million of funding from the Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program that had been awarded to California. The funds are provided to states for such activities as roadside inspections, traffic enforcement, safety audits of trucking companies, and public education campaigns. The DOT noted that states must adopt and enforce laws, regulations, standards, and orders on commercial motor vehicle safety to remain eligible for the funds. The DOT said the funding can be restored if California begins conducting English proficiency assessments of commercial motor vehicle drivers and issuing out of service orders to those who fail. Governor Newsom's press office X account responded by saying that California CDL holders had a fatal crash rate nearly 40% lower than the national average. Additionally, Newsom included California's letter to DOT sent on September 25th. California has complied and will continue to comply with applicable federal laws and regulations. Accordingly, California has met the qualifying conditions for Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program funding. The warning. This is the warning from Sean Duffy. On August 26th, Duffy held a news conference and threatened action against states that don't comply with English proficiency regulations for commercial motor vehicles. Duffy specifically called out Washington, California, and New Mexico for not enforcing the regs, saying the states had 30 days to come into compliance. Hopefully, in the next 30 days, we won't have to withhold any money from them. But if they don't come into compliance, we will start with withholding this money, and then we will take additional steps to guarantee compliance. Just to be clear, this is about having some obscure rule that we want them to comply with about truck drivers being able to speak English proficiently. This is about keeping people safe on the road. We need to make sure that the people who are driving big rigs can understand the road signs, that they've been well trained, and when they're stopped by law enforcement, they can effectively communicate. It's like the video I did yesterday by the Arkansas DOT pulled over a driver or stopped the driver who was parked on the side of the road sleeping and he couldn't speak English. Plus the CDO was expired. His Mexican CDO was expired. So they shut him down, towed the truck, called the company that owned the truck. They had to send a English speaking CDO holder to pick the truck up. Now DOT says the investigation revealed that California has continued to defy the rule. Let me be clear. This is valuable money that should be going to the great men and women in California law enforcement who we support, W said. Governor Newsom's insistence on obstructing federal laws has tied my hands. Now were some safety concerns. OOIDA has called the lack of English proficiency among truck drivers a safety issue. Being able to read electronic highway signs and communicate with law enforcement is a must. OOIDA petitioned the CVSA in March to begin placing non-English speaking drivers out of service and is supportive of the DOT's efforts to enforce the long-standing regulation. OOIDA strongly supports Secretary Duff's actions to enforce long-standing English proficiency requirements for commercial drivers, OOIDA President Todd Spencer said in August. Basic English skills are critical for safely operating a commercial motor vehicle, reading road signs, following emergency instructions, and communicating with law enforcement are not optional. The fatal crash in Florida this month tragically illustrates what's at stake. Road signs save lives, but only when they're understood. Operating an 80,000-pound vehicle without being able to read road signs isn't just dangerous, it's completely unacceptable. The association also supports a bill recently introduced by Senator Cynthia Lummis, Republican out of Wyoming, that would put President Donald Trump's executive order on English proficiency into law, known as Connor's Law, was introduced on October 8th. Wyoming families and travelers deserve safe highways, Loomis said in a news release. I'm introducing this common sense legislation to ensure commercial truck drivers operating heavy vehicles can simply read signs, understand traffic laws, and communicate effectively with law enforcement and emergency responders. Wyoming is a critical interstate commerce hub, with I-80 as a major shipping corridor. Our challenging road conditions include high winds. Yes, very high winds. Winter storms. Yes, a lot of winter storms. And mountains. Yes, mountains too. Demand clear communication between drivers and authorities. This legislation will correct the major mistake the Obama administration made in undermining these rules and will codify President Trump's executive order to make our highways safe for all Americans. Yeah, you can't read the signs that say the highway shut down because of snow or high winds or something. That's when you're going to start getting in trouble. So that's the article there from OOIDA. You know, they agree with, or Landline now, they agree with Duffy. Will Newsom do anything about this? I don't know. We'll see. Will he continue defying, become a sanctuary state? I don't know. So talk about the Florida Turnpike crash. Florida, what happened in Florida? They are mad at California for even seeing a CDL. He didn't speak no English. So let's see what's happening about this. Here we go. This from CDL Life. Florida sues California over deadly turnpike crash. English enforcement for CDL drivers. Top Florida officials announced a lawsuit against the state of California over a high-profile triple fatality crash that occurred on the Florida Turnpike in August 2025. On October 15th, Florida Attorney General James Upmeyer announced a lawsuit against Governor Gavin Newsom and the state of California over sanctuary policies involving commercial vehicle drivers that he says puts Florida at risk. Now here's the X post from James Upmeyer right there. In a statement released on X.com, Upmeyer blames California for an August 12 triple facility crash on the Florida Turnpike during which truck driver Hardinger Singh allegedly attempted. They need to take allegedly out of there. but he attempted to execute a U-turn in an unauthorized location, causing a minivan to crash to the truck's trailer, resulting in the deaths of all three people in the minivan. Upmeyer says that California should be held accountable for improperly issuing Singh a CDL when he was not qualified due to his immigration status. Upmeyer said that he will argue in the U.S. Supreme Court that Gavin Newsom's sanctuary policies are having a detrimental impact on Floridians and leading to increased costs on taxpayers and unnecessary tragic deaths. Florida Ag further accused California of upholding policies that allow unsafe drivers on the road who don't know English behind the wheel of 40-ton trucks. Upmeyer also pointed to the fact Florida is currently performing language checks on CDL drivers at agricultural checkpoints and weigh stations in an effort to comply with the executive order issued by the Trump administration calling for increased enforcement of English proficiency rules for truck drivers. The news of Florida lawsuit against California comes the same day, yes, here we go, as the U.S. Department of Transportation announced its decision to withhold $40 million in funding from the state for failure to enforce new English language proficiency rules. That's it for that article there from CDL Life. Go check them out, cdllife.com. So everybody's cracking down on Florida. Mad at Florida for allowing this to go on the song. Sanctuary State. He wants a CDL. Okay, just give him a CDL. He's good. We can't speak any English. We don't care. Give it to him anyway. So it puts the whole United States, every state, not just Florida, any state, in danger. Look what happened in Texas. Look what happened in other states. Giving these people license that can't read English, don't understand English, probably not even here legally, putting all of us at danger. The whole motoring public in danger. Crazy stuff. Better tighten up, California, or you know the deal. So let me know what y'all think down in the comment section. I appreciate everybody watching. Everybody have a good day and stay safe.